This is Eric Rutan of Cannibal Corpse. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast with Andrew McKay Smith.
I've got a treat for you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're into extreme metal guitar performance, because I've got a conversation with the one and only, the Norwegian death metal kingpin himself, Mr. Daniel Olaisen. His group is called Blood Red Throne, and the catalyst for the chat with Dan is due to the release of a new album from the band titled Imperial Congregation. This is an album that is truly an extravaganza of riffs crafted with the precision that only Dan knows how to bring. Throughout the conversation, Dan talks about how the group achieved their crushing sound, government overreach to COVID, and much, much more. Dan is an amazing guitarist, so we also address how he achieves his considerable chops. Before we get to the chat, let's have a listen to a sample of a tune from Imperial Congregation. This one's called Transparent Existence, and once it's done, we'll dive into the conversation. Let's go. How's things been going for you? Because I've got to say, I love this album, so I hope that's the feedback you've been getting.
Yeah, mostly, I would say. Of course, always somebody complaining about we're not doing something new and all that shit, but, that's what we do, death metal, the way we like it. So, for the most part, it's been really great feedback, and we know this is a strong album, so fuck the rest.
I agree. Look, it'll be in my year-end list. There's no doubt about that. It's one of the strongest death metal albums that I've heard in years. I'm trying to think of the most recent death metal album that I could compare to it, but I'm reaching for probably Violence Unimagined from Cannibal Corpse. It's up there with that quality.
Wow. Thanks a lot, man. That's good to hear. I mean, we're definitely happy with the album, and it's top-notch death metal, how we want it to sound. And, there's a lot of good bands out there, but we keep doing our stuff. And, people should expect quality from Blood Red Throne, and that's what you get.
Yeah, I agree with you. Quality, I use that word a lot with bands like yourselves, but that all comes down to the fact that, mate, you've been doing this a long time now. So you get what death metal is all about. And the experience shows. So if you've been doing a lot of interviews, has that been the feedback? People have been saying, this is an album that shows all of this great experience that you bring to death metal?
Yeah, but on previous albums, we have gotten the same feedback then as well. But maybe this time we stepped up a little bit, production-wise. Also, the songs are maybe a bit stronger than before. But in my opinion, we have delivered some good albums before as well, but I guess this is the best album since Alter Genesis. Many fans are still talking about that album, and that's the best Blood Red album. But I think this one is topping that one for sure. So we keep going. I mean, we get older, we get better to write our songs and arrange the songs. And, we know what sound we want and how to do this style. So definitely we're going to be doing more great albums in the future.
Yeah, no doubt. But I think what makes this album, to your point, I know you've been able to do what I'm about to say for a long time, but I'll focus on this album. Yeah. So you've managed to find a balance between plutonium heaviness and groove. Okay, not Pantera-style groove, but there's definitely a groove there, but it's your own way of doing things. And it's not an easy proposition to do what you've done. So you might have mentioned it there when you talked about the production side of things, but did you spend a lot of time in pre-production just getting all of the riffs and the rhythms together?
Yeah, always. I have my own home studio, as many musicians and bands have these days. And of course, I sit down and I really analyze the songs, from start to end. And the groove is totally important, but also, the whole vibe, the whole flow from the song starts till it ends. I don't want to put, like 20, 30 riffs, just putting them together and this is a song. I need to have, some balance in the song and somewhat call it like, a verse, a chorus, bridge, whatever. So, it comes natural to put the riffs together, but maybe now I'm more focused on, to make a song out of it, just not put out 100 of riffs in one song, So, definitely a better songwriter now than before.
Talking about the lyrical side of things, because that was one of the things that was mentioned in the bio. So across the album, of course, it's called Transparent Existence. And look, sincerely, please forgive me here if I mispronounce the vocalist's first name, but is it Yngve? Is that how you pronounce his first name? Okay, there you go.
That's pretty correct.
I didn't think I'd get that right, but that's good. There you go. Yes,
or Bolt, as his stage name is, but Yngve is correct.
Okay, there you go. But I read that they're Bolt's thoughts on what it means to be systematically deprived of individual freedom. Now, of course, with what the bloody hell's we're all going through at the moment, particularly here in Australia, no doubt you've seen the news reports. Do you feel as though these vaccine mandates and these COVID lockdowns, of course, they're largely decreed by unelected officials and they're enforced by public servants and bureaucrats. Do you think that they're a good indication of what Bolt's singing about?
Definitely. I would actually start asking you one question. Are you vaccinated?
No, I'm not going to.
No. Me neither, and Bolt as well. We are totally against it. The rest of the guys did take the vaccine, but they are having second thoughts now, and both me and Bolt have told them, be patient. Just follow the news, read up on it and what's happening. I mean, they tell you to take this vaccine, it's fucking crazy, man. They don't know anything about it. People still get sick. They still get the virus. So I'm very skeptical. And I feel like you're forced to take it, If I want to travel outside Norway, I have to take the vaccine.
Correct.
It's fucked up, man. I mean, I can go and take a COVID test negative. That should be okay. But for some reason, getting to the US, for example, you need to have a vaccination card, whatever. So it's fucked up, man. I know society has to do something about it, of course. And I'm not against the vaccines, but you have to be, a bit realistic about it and be, ask questions, read about it. And follow your own heart. I mean, nobody here at my home has taken it, and we are against it. But we want to, of course, have a second opinion when times go by. But it definitely has something to do about the lyrics that Bolt writes about. I mean, to stand up for your own opinions and be skeptical. Make your own thoughts about things, even if it's the vaccine or if it's religion or just any matter. You have to be strong. You have to be strong and support your own thoughts. That's the main. The bottom line in the lyrics.
Norway, as I understand it, has a political system which is very similar to many of the states in Australia, where there's a socialist democratic perspective on things. So that left wing, politically left. It's politically left, and I'm noticing with governments around the world, whether it's in Norway, here in Queensland, especially in Victoria in Australia, California, New York, where you've got left-wing governments, you've got this veer towards totalitarianism. Has it surprised you that we as a population have been so compliant with these assholes? With these things that you're talking about, with these vaccine mandates? Because we're talking about in Queensland here now, I'm surrounded by people who have had the first jab in 80%. We're at 80% of the population have had their first jab, so people are complying.
Yeah, exactly. And now you have to take, the second shot, the third shot, maybe the fourth. I mean,
boosters. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know if it's the same in Norway as in Australia, but I feel like people are looking down at you if you're negative to this, and you don't contribute, to society, and you have to follow the pack, whatever. It's bullshit. Nobody should force anyone to put this stuff in their body if they don't want to. So, I'm still skeptical, but I totally understand. The government, they have to try something. You cannot just sit down and just wait for it to pass by. But I think this is gonna stay for a long time.
It just, I think we're on the same page. It should come down to individual choice. So if you don't want to get vaccinated, fair enough. Okay, if you do want to get vaccinated, that's great too, but it should come down to the individual being able to make a decision about what's right for their body, particularly with adults. We're not talking about infants here and immunising against measles, mumps, and all of what's the whooping cough, all this sort of stuff that we've had to do now for decades in the West. It just seems crazy that we've just ceded our personal liberties. And I can only really talk on authority about what's happening here in Australia, because it's absolutely happened here in Australia. I just never thought my fellow Australians would cede to big government like we have. It's nuts.
Yeah, and I have to say, it's very interesting. A lot of my friends, they are, like me, thinking for themselves and anti-religion and all that shit. But when it comes to the vaccine, I mean, 90% of those guys have taken it. And they are fucking telling me, what the fuck are you doing, Daniel? You have to take it. And it's like, fuck, man. You have to stand for exactly those things. So, on that matter, I really don't understand those guys. But it should be a free choice, of course, and no pressure at all. So, yeah. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait a long time.
Yeah, it's interesting. Rebellion apparently has its limits.
Exactly.
Oh, well. Hey, just talking about, I love the tune "Transparent Existence." We'll talk about the album again, and the tune itself. I reckon it's one of the heaviest songs that I could recommend to any extreme metal fan to listen to. It's up there with "Nothing Is Not" by Morbid Angel in terms of pure heaviness. Can you talk me through the principal guitar setup that you used to record the album, because you've just captured just this brutal heaviness?
So, I haven't used an amplifier for many years, man. I always record my stuff, with a direct signal, so I can reamp and all that shit. And that's exactly what we did this time as well. So, our new sound guy, and also the guy that mixed and mastered the album, a Swedish guy, actually, he played guitar in Aeon for some years.
Nice.
He did all the sound for us. So it's all software, man. But I mean, we're living in 2021 now, and you can get pretty much the sound you want to. Of course, the old amplifiers, blah blah blah. But we play death metal. We need we need this sound, and I don't care if we go through an amplifier or software or whatever. Just give me the fucking killer sound, and I'm happy. So there's 2 guitar sounds on the album. One of them, we have 4 layers of guitars, 2 in each side, 2 to the left and 2 to the right. So one of the sounds is ML Sound Labs Roots, and then we have the Neural DSP Omega. So we just mix them together just to, get the heaviness and also the sharpness. And this guy is fucking amazing. I mean, we have never had such a production. I think Union of Flesh and Machine sounded pretty good, but comparing to this one, it's fucking many steps ahead. So this is the way I always do it. Always when I write stuff, I record it 100%. It's actually no demoing for me. I mean, if I have a riff, I record it 100%. I split the signals, so I have the amplifier signal and I also have the DI, so I can reamp. And that's how I've been doing my stuff for many albums now. So yeah, I know we don't do it like many other bands, rehearsing and maybe record the drums first, which is most normal. But we do everything on click track, and it's 100% tight. So guitars and bass are actually recorded first, and then we do the drums, and then the vocals. So it's a kind of opposite way than normal, but it works for us.
Yep, it indeed does work for you. Yeah. And the other thing I noticed, and I know you've always done this, but there are some epic solos, and specifically the solo on 6 and 7, I think is the right way to pronounce the song there. So do you spend a lot of time on the solos, or is it, to your point there, do you just capture it in the moment? Is it a bit of an improvisation?
No, you're spot on. Making riffs is no problem for me. I'm a riffer. I'm no lead guitarist. I don't see myself as that. So I actually spent most time on the leads on this album, and some of the leads I actually had to wait several weeks, months before I was 100% satisfied. So definitely the leads are top notch this time. I mean, we always had some leads, but not so long leads, not so melodic maybe as this time. So I really put some effort to have some really smooth and nice melodies in there. So I'm really happy about the leads on this album.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, they stood out. So congratulations on that front. I think anybody who's right into guitar wizardry is going to find a lot of candy on this one.
I mean. I've never been the biggest fan, of Slayer solos, Deeza solos. I mean, it's okay. It fits the music, especially Slayer. But I'm a big fan of melodies. Death. Joe Satriani is my favorite guitarist. Okay. I definitely need some melody when I want to listen to some lead guitaring. So, but of course we have some, crazy soloing. But that's the other guy doing that shit, and I do the melodic stuff.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah. Now, what about challenges? Did you have any significant challenges you had to overcome through the recording process?
This time it went pretty smooth. For some reason we had some problems doing the vocals on previous albums, but this time Bolt was on fire. He was doing his stuff pretty fast. The lyrics came pretty fast, and it was just smooth working from beginning till the end on this album. So and we don't have to meet, we don't rehearse and all that shit. So that was no problem. We just met once, to do the music video for Transparent Existence. Other than that, it was maybe the smoothest recording I've ever done, actually.
Must have been because of COVID. There was enough challenges there,
Yeah, maybe.
Have you got any tours or shows booked? I haven't checked, sorry, so I'll ask the question.
Come again?
Have you got any tours or shows booked coming up?
Yeah, 2020 we had like the most killer year for us. We had so many festivals and gigs going on. Then the shit came and everything was at least postponed. Some of the festivals are not happening, but some of them are. And we are doing at least 5 or 6 festivals next year that I know of. And we also signed to Continental Touring in the US. And they already offered us a really big tour. We had to say no to that one, but they are working to bring us over there. So, we have talked within the band, and we are so ready now to play as much as possible. We even are considering, taking a year off of work and just focus on, touring to see how far we can push the band now. Because, I mean, we've been around for 25 years almost, and it's now or never for us if we're going to break or not. So that's cool that most guys in the band are fucking ready to, give up everything and just focus on the music. So let's see what happens. But we're definitely going to play a lot of live shows in 2022.
Yeah. So what do you do in the day-to-day? What's your day job?
Me personally, I work shift. I work with metal, so I'm
Nice.
100% metal. Yeah, it's furnace. It's liquid metal. So the final product is actually solar panels. But I work in the beginning of the process. So I work at the big furnace, melting down stones to liquid metal. So
Oh, wow.
I'm 100% metal.
Wow, that's incredible. But
Yeah.
Look, not that I know much about the solar industry in Norway, but I imagine there's only about a 3 or 4 month window for it to be effective. But I've got solar panels on my roof here. Is that what's going on in Norway as well? There's lots of solar panels on the roofs.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, we don't sell it just here in Norway and Scandinavia. Of course, we sell it in Europe as well and other places. So it's the future for sure. And I've been working there for 22 years now. So never been a problem getting time off, to do the touring and gigs. So it's the perfect job for me.
Yeah, nice, mate. Yeah, metal powered by the sun. I like that. Yeah. Hey, what about Zero Sonic? What's going on there with that group? Is that a band that is active in the same way as Blood Red Throne?
Not at all. I mean, it's kind of sad to talk about it because we did an album earlier this year that is really, really good. I tried to get Nuclear Blast to sign that band as well, but I didn't succeed. But of course, Blood Red Throne is my main band, but Zero Sonic has been with me for almost 18 years now, but the band doesn't seem to break, It's like, I'm almost giving up, and I have so much success with Blood Red Throne, so I will focus on that. But I also have a couple of other bands. I don't know if you know about them, but
go for it.
I also play in an 80s hard rock band called Big City. We're also signed on a quite big label, Frontiers Records. So I have quite some success there as well. And me and the second singer of Blood Red Throne also has a black metal band called Valdudor. That's very underground, so nothing's gonna happen there. But we also released an album earlier this year. But for now, it's Blood Red Throne. Totally focused on that.
Yeah, well, you've always been very active. I mean, I'm sure many people will be familiar with the fact that you worked with Satyricon for many, many years there.
Yeah, that's how it all started, man. I mean, I just picked up the guitar, and 2 years later, I was actually the live guitarist in Satyricon, a band I was looking up to and I was a big fan of. And it was almost unreal, when I was at the rehearsal place and auditioned, and I really got the job. So, yeah, I didn't play in any bands with my friends or whatever. I just started, right in the big city. So I remember the first gig I ever did. I mean, I never played any gigs before this one, and that was at the Dynamo Festival in 1997 in front of 10,000 people. So, so it was a kickstart.
How did you prepare yourself mentally for that big jump?
I think the other guys in the band, especially the boss himself, Satyr, was worried that I was going to have a nervous breakdown, but I was just excited, I was 18, 19 years old, and I was just looking forward, to do my shit. And it was a good gig as well. So, I don't know. I've always felt comfortable on stage, never been nervous or anything like that. I know what to do, and that's what I want to continue to do.
That's interesting you say that, because I've got the same feelings. I know exactly what you're saying. I suffer from a bit of anxiety, so put me in front of a room full of people to do a public speech. It can be difficult. When I've got my guitars here, put me in front of 1,000, 2,000 people or what have you. I'm enjoying it. I'm in the moment. Isn't that interesting?
That's very interesting because not that I'm nervous now, but I think this is more, to me, more a challenge than standing in front of 20,000 people performing my songs. But we're different. Me too, like to be alone and not have too many people around me. But I also enjoy it when 10,000 people go crazy in front of me when I perform. So we're just different. But I was built for this. I was built for the stage, and I'm going to continue to kick ass from the stage.
Indeed, yeah. Was there ever, with Sigurd, aka Sata, was there ever discussions about you becoming a full-time member, particularly because I know you contributed to Rebel Extravaganza?
Yeah. Bringing that up again because, oh, fuck, man. 6 months later, after I quit the band, they fucking toured with Pantera, you know, one of my all-time fave bands. And I was so fucking, you know, fuck, man. I should have stayed a bit longer. But, yeah, shit happens. I was actually offered to be a permanent member, both me and Jot, my friend.
Okay.
The other guy that I started the Blood with Throne with. But we were so focused on doing our own stuff, you know, with Blood with Throne and, you know, in Satyricon and Satyr, it's his band, it's his regime, you know, and 3 years was enough for us. So I don't regret it. It was a great time and we learned a lot and experienced a lot, but we wanted to move on with our own bands. So I don't regret anything. But of course, if I could stay 6 months longer, I would have been drinking whiskey with Dimebag and the other guys. But okay, fuck.
Yeah, we each have those sliding doors moments, don't we? It just obviously wasn't your fate.
Yeah, and again, it's no problem. The only thing I'm sorry for that I never saw Death, my absolute fave band. I never got to see them live, and that kind of hurts. But that's why you have YouTube.
Indeed, yeah. You mentioned Death, then, yeah. Which is the album that's your favourite?
That's Human. That's the best metal album ever made, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So yeah, no question about it.
What is it about that album that you think is so special and makes it so great?
Of course, ahead of his time and all that shit, but you know, when you listen to music, you get a special relationship to different bands and releases when you're a kid, you know, when you're a teenager. That will always mean a lot, the music that you listen to in those years. And Death was one of the first, extreme bands that I listened to. And it's just how I want to play my music, you know. The brilliant riffs, the great solos, just the sound and everything. Very unique at that time, and many have tried, you know, to copy them in the years after, but no chance, man.
I'll never forget when I first met my wife. This is back when YouTube first came in around 2006 or so, when it was popularised. And she still does, listen to all this bloody urban bullshit, hip-hop or what have you. And she showed me her music, and I thought, I'm going to show you my music. So I put on Lack of Comprehension. And she goes, right, when are we going to get to the music you really listen to? I said, no, that's what I listen to. Because, you know, look at me, I don't really look like a big metalhead.
and you're still together?
15 years later or whatever it is, yes. Yeah, she gets used to it. She gets used to the fact that I talk to great musicians like yourself, and she only knows... I don't think she knows any of the bands that I like or get into. We don't have that sort of a relationship. But, she's supportive of the fact that I do this and I love the music.
It's both good and bad in some way. You know, it's cool to have something for yourself, but also it's cool when, of course, they make interest in what you do and what you listen to. But I've been together with my wife for 23 years now, and of course she doesn't like the most extreme bands, but she's been to many death metal shows, and she actually loves to see, of course, Blood Red Throne, and especially when Bolt starts to sing, she can feel, you know, his fucking voice is killing. So we're different. Some like urban, some like death metal, some like everything. It's music, man.
It is. Music is the most important thing by far. Chuck always said that. It's just about the music, but let the metal flow, you know. But the music's the most important thing, to your point, you know.
Exactly. And all human beings have a relationship to music in some way or another. So, it's pretty unique.
Hey, just talking about Satyricon again, Andrea Meyer, was she in the group when you were there?
No.
Okay.
I think that must have been after me. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I didn't know her, but it's so sad what happened. Crazy about all that shit that happens.
It happens in Australia too, yeah. This shit,
Yeah, we're used to all that shit happening on the news, and in the US and wherever, but it's fucking starting to happen here in Norway as well. It's fucked up, man. So, yeah, it's not good. I think mankind, fuck it.
Yeah, that one there, though, that she was killed as part of, though, is very strange. A Danish national convert to Islam decided to pick up a bow and arrow or a crossbow, whatever the hell it was. How could you protect the public against something like that?
I don't know, man. I mean, what are the odds? What can I say to that? I don't know. I don't know if anybody was near there that could stop him or whatever. But there will always be, people like that going mentally insane, and you can't really stop them because humans can do whatever they want, but they have to take the consequences, of course. But it's fucked up, and I think the society and the world is going in the wrong direction. I mean, the more people on this planet, the more fuck ups and shit is going to happen. So the future doesn't look bright in that sense. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe Mother Earth will clean up everything by herself.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there. Have you heard of the Georgia Guidestones in the United States?
No, tell me.
So, I mean, apparently nobody knows who built them, why they're there, but they talk about the perfect dimensions, if you like, for humanity to thrive and survive. Now, there's a conspiracy around the fact that they're really, the Illuminati and the New World Order, all this conspiracy bullshit. But you read a lot of what's on there around the perfect... it's not about... I don't know whether it's the perfect amount of human beings required for a sustainable Earth in the way that we understand it. But it does have all of these limits for how many people should be on the planet. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think it talks about all we need for the Earth to function at its optimum level, if you like. Humanity's existence needs to be capped at a couple of 100,000. So bugger all. So we're talking about how many there were in the Stone Age.
We're on overtime now.
There's billions of us, mate.
I mean, if we just could erase, all the fucking shitty people, the pedophiles and all, the murders and all that shit, that would help a lot.
Yep,
and then
absolutely.
We can take the rest after. Except the metalheads, of course.
Oh, indeed. Yes, the musical appreciators, and unless you're a piece of shit, you get a pass. You can stay.
Of course, there's a lot of, dickheads in the metal scene as well, but, just how it is.
Have you had to deal with a lot of, obviously you would have, so how do you deal with shonky promoters, especially like 2 decades ago when you were coming up?
Well, in the beginning, it was the other guy, Short, that took care of all that shit. But of course, the last few years, I've been taking care of that business. And mostly, I would say we have been, having good experiences. There will always be some douchebags. But, I remember one time we played in the UK. We had, 10 gigs or whatever. And after the gig, we were supposed to, stay at this guy's place, and we took a taxi out. And we came to the house, and it was junkies all around in the house. It was garbage all over the place, and one fucking dirty mattress, for 7-8 people.
Oh my God!
It was fuck, man. And the promoter, of course, he couldn't reach him, and. He never returned calls or whatever. So some kind of shit like that has happened, but mostly we have been treated pretty well, and now we just don't say no to. We don't say yes. To shitty gigs. We see what kind of venues there are, the promoters, listen to what other bands has to say. So. We have been doing so many shows now that we don't have to, agree to anything. So I think we're safe now. But every band goes through this period, playing shitty gigs, shitty venues, and stupid promoters. we also got this promoter in the US. The last tour we did in US, Mexico, he just left us. He was supposed to to give us the ride through the whole tour. The first gig, he just disappeared. Never heard from him.
Jesus Christ! Well, he took his money and rode into the sunset, effectively.
Yeah, we didn't see anything, and there we stood in the middle of nowhere in Texas. And he was supposed to give us accommodation, money, drive us to the next venue. Fuck, man. So luckily we had a friend living in Texas, so we rented a car and he did a tour for us. But yeah, we lost a lot of money, shit like that. But it's all part of the story. We can laugh at it years later.
Jesus Christ, yeah, that's so shonky, isn't it? I mean, you think that there's this brotherhood. You would hope that there would be.
Exactly, and many bands warned us, don't do this, Blood Red Throne, don't work with this guy, and we were like, fuck, man, we really want to go back to the US and play, and yeah, let's take a chance. But they were right, we were wrong. We shouldn't do it.
Well, you've got this deal with Continental now, so that's going to subvert any of those sort of issues from happening again.
Yeah, we're safe now, and but this is only in the US and in South America, so we're working on a booking agency here in Europe. We'll see what happens. I also noticed that Continental are doing this Legion 30th anniversary tour.
I saw.
And of course, yeah, that would be fucking perfect for us. So I asked the guy at Continental, but he was like, there's like 400 bands asking the same, so we'll see.
I would never put you in a position to ask you what you think of Deicide these days to scupper any potential partnership that might happen there. But yeah, I just wonder if Kevin has got his chops up to being able to play a lot of that stuff on Legion, because famously Deicide themselves hardly ever played anything off Legion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know if he's able to play it, but I don't know. It's all about the money, I think. They're going to milk everything, they can. So, and it's just sad. It's just sad. But I'm still a fan of Deicide, especially the older albums. They went to a different style, I think, when Santala came in with all that sweeping solos and all that. It was cool for some parts, but it was too much for me, I think. But I mean, Once Upon a Cross, one of my all-time fave death metal albums. So Deicide definitely belongs to in the history, but I don't know. I don't know how those guys are now. Maybe it would be douchebags to tour with. I don't know. Glenn Benton, I heard some stories about him, but I think many people would show up, and of course the rest of the guys in the band would be fucking, honored to be a part of such a tour, but I don't think we're going to get picked out to do that. Probably a US band or whatever.
Just talking about your guitar playing again, I do feel like as though you are at the level where you could be more the guitar, I don't know about Guitar World, but those online magazines and those video channels and all the rest of it could probably contact you and get you to do more standalone things, whether it be playthroughs or demonstrations of your considerable technique. But the other guitarist who is on Nuclear Blast as well as Wes Hauck from Alluvial. You guys, he does a lot of that, a lot of the melodic soloing, but is crushingly heavy like what you are. Do you know Wes is the first question?
The first question?
Oh, do you know Wes Hauck from Alluvial at all?
No, I don't know him.
Check him out. They're on Nuclear Blast, but I think if you listen to Alluvial, you'll identify. It's not that you guys sound the same, but stylistically and their approach to playing brutally heavy music, it's the same. But you're both excellent guitarists, is my point. And look, I've long championed extreme metal guitar virtuosity, and I put you in that category, meaning that all of the techniques that make up extreme metal guitar playing, you have down pat. And same with Wes. Yeah, so I'd love to see.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd love to see you potentially doing some partnerships, whether it be video partnerships where you're playing with each other and talking about techniques, maybe doing something like this, where you're actually talking to a fellow guitarist who's at the same level that you are. Is that something that you're interested in doing?
I always thought about it, after so many albums and releases and all the years I've been doing this shit, there's actually way too few videos that I've actually done, both with the whole band, music videos, but also playthroughs. So I will definitely do more of those. There's a lot of people asking about, tabs and all shit. I don't have time, to write down all that stuff, but it would be cool, to work with somebody knowing to write down all the tabs. And for sure, I'm going to do more videos. But I'm a busy guy, and I just have to, take some time to do it. But I don't know about, I don't consider myself like a really guitar hero or whatever. I mean, I like to sit alone in my home studio, and work with my music for myself, and pretty much do my stuff by myself. But maybe in the future, if I feel comfortable with it, or if there's an interest that people really, really want to see me explain something or do something, I would, of course, consider it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I just think it's something that masters of the genre like yourself, if you did a bit more, I see it with my own kids and their interest in iPads and roadblocks. So I've only got young daughters, right? But eventually they're going to be teenagers, okay, and then they become young adults. Remember when we were kids, I'm being a bass guitarist, I sat down and wanted to learn John Deacon from Queen's bass lines or Steve Harris's bass lines, this sort of thing. I wonder if a lot of that is going on these days, because you get a lot of these kids graduating to the YouTube school of music and they're just trying to focus on playing as fast as they can and doing all these rings of Saturn stuff. Fair enough, but I don't know whether they know how to groove and how they know how to lock in with playing with drums and stuff. And I think someone like yourself who has such a tight rhythmic technique, demonstrating those chops and then potentially talking about the way you've arrived at your technique with a fellow killer guitarist like Wes, man, that's the sort of stuff that I reckon if I was 18 or 19 and if I was just sort of not starting out on the guitar but had some idea how to play, could play some of the Slayer material or Megadeth material and wanted to take it to the next level, they're the sort of conversations that I'd love to see kids tuning into.
Yeah, I totally understand you. And I was like that myself when I was, 18, 19 years old. I definitely had my video cassettes, watching my Guitar Heroes play, and I was studying them and all that shit. So yeah, definitely. I know the question, and if the band grows very big now, I may be forced to do stuff like that. But I know the other guy, Mituk, the other guitarist, he's very good at doing this stuff. He records everything. He's playing the drums, the guitars, he's singing, bass. So I definitely should step up myself. But I actually, when I work with music, and it's not every day, I'm really into sports as well, so I spend a lot of hours on sports. But when I work with music, I like to, be in the studio and actually create something. If I had to sit down and make videos and spend hours doing that, editing and all that shit, so. It's all a matter of time, but as I said, I definitely want to do more guitar playthroughs of songs for sure. I will do that. We also have many requests, can you show me that riff? Can you show me that song? Blah, blah, blah. And we have to keep up and do more of those. I agree.
What you mentioned sports there. Do you play sport or are you just interested in watching it?
Both, but mostly being active myself in football. And have you heard about paddle tennis?
No. Tell me about
it. It's the world's largest growing sports right now. It's crazy. It's a combination between tennis and squash. It's insane. It's really getting big now, and I am totally hooked, man. I practice almost every day.
Paddle tennis. I'm gonna check it out.
Paddle.
Okay. I can see it. Yeah, wow, look at that. Yeah, it looks like indoor soccer, indoor football, indoor soccer, or what have you. Yeah.
It's like a tennis court, but you have all these walls around you, with the glass, so you can use the walls. It's fucking great, man. I'm actually going to practice now in 15 minutes, so I don't think you have too many questions left.
I could talk for hours, mate. I could talk your ear off.
I really enjoyed this interview, so nice talking to you.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure. Look, congratulations first and foremost on your career. But look, this album here is it will be on my year-end list. Imperial Congregation, killer album. As soon as I heard it, I thought, I need to talk to you if we can. So just thanks very much for making the time. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, man. And I really hope we can come to Australia. I mean, we had fans asking us to come, for like 10, 15 years now, but it's so fucking expensive with those flight tickets, So we need to do a whole tour, to make it logic, to not lose too many money. But we definitely want to go to Australia, and Asia would be awesome. So, we'll see what the future brings, but I think things are going to happen for us now with this album, with Nuclear Blast, Continental. So I cross my fingers that we can come over to your country.
Big time. I'd love to see you guys live. Crushing live act, crushing on album. Awesome. Love it.
Thanks a lot, mate.
All right. Likewise, brother. No worries. Talk to you again.
Cheers, man.
Catch ya. In addition to being a magnificent guitarist, Dan Olaisen, who you just heard from, is a top fella too. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith and I'm the host of the Scars and Guitars podcast series. If you enjoyed that chat, there are many more, just like it, over 600 in fact, at scarsandguitars.com. If you could like, subscribe, share, and even leave a nice comment, I'd appreciate that too. So that's it, another episode done and dusted. Until next time, it is a very goodbye for now.